from the 30th of December to January 4th, right? We're gonna be talking about every trade that we took, every missing trades, every losing trades, every winning trades, the lessons, right? Even a missing trade, we'll have to journal it, right? Because miss, journal, catch it next time, right? The lessons, improvement that we can carry on from this week, the next week, and on and so forth, right? And as well as more the lesson from this week, and how can we, as I said already, how can we improve? How can we use it how can we use it to sharpen our edge even more, right? And this is basically a raw naked chart. I just did a little drawing, right, just to look for the perspective of the higher time frame. But in the higher time, you can see weekly CRT to the downside, weekly IRL to ERL, another weekly IRL to ERL, right? Another CRT as well, right over here, weekly, another daily CRT, another weekly CRT. Oh, just for that, another weekly CRT to the downside, right? So our high time frame liquidity is bearish. So now we go to the ETM time frame. ETM time frame, we go from a IRL to ERL, and as well as a daily CRT to the downside, and another daily CRT downside, another daily CRT downside as well, right? Now let's talk. Now for Monday, I did not know what the weekly profile would it be until Tuesday or until Thursday, because Wednesday was a holiday, so we didn't know. We would not trade that day, right? But right after Monday ended, I was like, okay, it's gonna be a classic, especially because Monday did a really big range to the downside where we want to go. So I feel like I felt like, okay, this should be definitely a classic expansion week profile to Monday half the week, right? But it was only after Monday. But during Monday, as you guys know, we only trade London session. I mean, we only trade New York session, right? So I won't be talking about London because I don't trade that session, right? This as well go bar replay, right, to give us more perspective. While I was looking at here during this specific time, right, I was looking for this ERL to get souped, right? As well as we're in this range, right? Range dynamic, as you guys know, makes your trade probability higher. The order flow during this Pacific time, the order flow was bullish, right? So the order flow bullish, your narrative is your probability of you working out is less, but we had a lot of narrative to this trade, right? And this trade during Monday, I actually missed this trade, right? The reason I missed it because I woke up at 7 a.m. My setup happened at 7:15, and I don't want to make a bad habit right when I wake up. I don't want to be taking a trade, right? So right after that, the next days on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right? I woke up early in the day. I woke up at 6 a.m., 3 a.m., right? Try to wake up earlier in time, which was a learning, right? But the setup was like this, right? With a ERL, we had a fair value right over here. I mean, we had an ERL, right? As well as displayed as a key level as well, right? Range high and a key level. As well, we had a range dynamic low over here. So we want to be selling at the range dynamic high. We want to buy it below the range dynamic low, right? And there was nothing else here. We're looking for a New York reversal profile, right? New York reversal profile, I think 2, 5 a.m. 1 a.m. is the accumulation, 5 a.m. is the manipulation, and 9 a.m. is the expansion, right? For a profile, I want to be the 5 a.m. accumulation, 9 a.m. Manipulation, and 1 p.m. expansion, right? So I built up enough narrative to this, right? As well, I saw a fucking the range high, right? But for the dealing range, right? My bad for the speaking right over there. Just forgot what I was gonna talk about, right? I was thinking about something which is not a good thing. Let me stay present. Let me focus on this, right? At this moment right now, we did have a dealing range here. You can see low got actually no dealing range because I thought there was a low that got pressed. So we had no dealing range, right? That's all we had, but it was enough context for me to take it, right? Because we have a daily profile, we had a daily IRL to ERL, weekly IRL to ERL, right? Weekly CRT, daily CRT. We pursed out the weekly CRT to the weekly CRT, daily CRT to the upside, right? We purged it out, so that means there's more narrative. Previous week high got purged, right? So we have built up enough narrative for us to take the trade. All the overflow was bullets, right? So now we're gonna scale down to the 15-minute, but we're not going to be taking a trade until the market taps this CRT high and as well as our key level, right? So this rejection block can't be our key level because we're in a range, right? Once we're in a range, we don't want to be selling in between the ranges, right? We want to be selling once the range high or range low gets purged. So we're just gonna be patient. And as well as the end of the CRT, there was not a legitimate high, so I would have not took any trade regardless, right? I mean, not regardless. I would have waited for a different type of a purge, right? So this CRT high at the end of the CRT, there was not a legitimate high, so I'm looking for another purge, right? So now let's put the candle. Market made another high here. You can see made another high. So I'm waiting for this high to get re-get purged, right? Because market now purged out the other candle range high. So now I'm looking for a repurge. I'm not looking for a model 1 yet until we get a repurge of a legitimate high, which is this candle right over here. Now eventually when the market purge out that high, made another equal high here. Eventually market purge it out. Now I'm looking to get in, right? Now I'm looking for action. Now market, you can see as well tapped our weekly IRL, weekly previous week's high got tapped, right? So now I'm looking for a model number 1 to get in here and eventually look for a sells here, right? With sell stop right above. I mean, we don't have it yet until the market creates this ERL, right? Eventually, this was the wrong model 1. Eventually, I'm in ball replay, so it's gonna be harder for us to see. Eventually, once the market made this model number 1 right over here, right? This was our confirmation to the downside, and sell stop right above the model number 1, right? And take profit was very clear. The CRT low, the 50% mark of the CRT as well, right over here. And this was a missing trade. So right after this trade, I missed it. I woke up at 7 a.m. I saw the trade play out. I was okay. I missed it. Now next time I see this happen again, now from now on, I'll wake up early in the day. So next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I woke up around like 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. Right? I woke up early. One time 7 a.m. Right? But as you can see, we woke up earlier, right? So our body, because if I wake up, take this trade at 7:15 a.m., right? It wouldn't make sense for me to take that trade because now my head is foggy. What if this time you might hit take profit? Next time what's gonna happen, right? Eventually, these bad habits gonna play on and take us out, right? So this was a missing trade. So I missed this trade. I journaled it, and I catch you next time. What was the journal from this? What was the improvement from this? Wake up earlier next time, right? So I woke up earlier next time, and throughout the whole week, right? And eventually from there on as well. I take profit with the CRT low of this, not all the way down here because you're too unrealistic as of right there, right? I could have definitely hold it down here, but would have not done it. But this is a missing trade, right? Even if I make a missing trade, I'm gonna act like I took the trade, right? Because that's how you're supposed to be doing it, right? To think positively, right? But my take profit, the 50% mark, CRT low, it was the range low, right? And as well as these, this was the see the 4-hour time frame. That was the daily CRT low, and this was the weekly CRT low, right? Because we had a weekly CRT here as well, right? As well as our last initial goal would have had to been this IRL, right? You can see it was a very clear ERL to IRL move here as well, right? You can see right over here it was a very clear ERL to IRL, right? ERL, there was no IRL here, right? This IRL already got filled so much. It's because there's CRT here as well, right below this. So this IRL will be higher likely to get disrespected because this IRL right over here, the CRT lows in there, right? That means it's gonna be less chance of that working out in your favor, right? So I mean that range low, right? So anything below that, this right over here. So since we go down here, we can see right below that there is a range. There's an IRL, right? So we can go from a ERL to IRL. This IRL has already been tagged, right? So we can go to this right over here, right? Go to a brand new one, right? So go to external take profit here. Going for a 4.9 RR, 4.8 RR, right? So now eventually just play the market. See market eventually right when I get an entry, stop playing around. Eventually, we had more near to this as well. All of the order flow is bullish. We have built up a market profile into it, as you can see. You know, expansion, retracement, expansion, reversal, retracement, expansion, right? You see a reversal happen, tapping a higher tapping key level, right? And since we were already in a key level right over here, reversal would have been harder. But you know, our model for the reversal for the reversal confirmation would be our model number 1. If there's a model number 1, you'll be confirmed that reversal, right? So reversal, retracement, expansion, right? You can see how the setup had a lot of confirmation here. But what was the lesson overall on Monday's trade? It was that wake up earlier next time, right? Wake up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., right? Eventually, that's what I did. The next day is on, right? So now let's move with the next day, Tuesday. This was a Tuesday mark. That's the 1 a.m. candle. So eventually, I was looking for right over here. We were in a range again. We were range low. So now this will be considered as a kiss of death of the sequence of the higher time frame, right? This would be our kiss of death in the higher time frame. Because see, how come it is a KOD? Market has been get a big candle to the downside and is less likely to keep on purging liquidity than go to the downside, right? Kiss of death is the last liquidity purge before hitting a goal, right? This was our range high as well as our key level. Not our key level, as well as our KOD, right? Let's see, kiss of death. This would be our that over there, and our key level would be this breakout block, right? How come is this breakout block our key level right over here? Because you can see now market purchase out the high, purchase out the low, made a daily range here, right? So this key level, this right over here, would have been our premium and discount. How come is this auto block not a premium key level? Because the wick is below it, right? For it to be a premium key auto block, you have to tap the body, right? In this case, we had a breakout block there, so the breakout block played as our key level, right? Eventually, I waited until 5 a.m. to take a trade, right? The 5 a.m. candle, I can't take this trade because this would be considered as a New York continuation instead of a New York reversal. You can see 1 a.m. mid high. Eventually, once this 5 a.m. candle ends, now all I'm looking at is an hourly continuation to the downside, right? This hourly continuation never happened. Market just, you see, this candle just pushed down, hitting our kiss of death entry to the all to the downside right over here. You can see in the 4-hour time frame, this made a lot of sense for this KOD to happen, right? You can see this KOD made a lot of sense, right? We had a KOD here, right? So you can see from this point on to around here, they're not that far away from each other, right? So it's going to be considered as a last sequence before they hit a draw on liquidity, right? Which is the highest probably trade you can have, right? But during this trade, there was no setup. So now let's move on to the next day, which was Thursday, right? So this day, no setup, market never offered us, but we had a lot of context to it, we had a narrative to it, right? Now, this was our Thursday trade. So I was looking for a long Thursday. There was not a lot of narrative, so I de-risked on Thursday, and this is where I had my loss, right? This is the day where I had my loss on Thursday, and the loss was a mistaken loss. But eventually, I learned from the loss, right? Now I know that I'm explaining it before we do that, right? So you can see the weekly objective got met, right, on the weekly time frame, right? And after that, I was looking for a weekly ERL to IRL, right? As well as a daily ERL to IRL. So I was looking for bullishness in a daily time frame as well, right? So now if you go to the 4-hour time frame, that was my only narrative. So I did not know that during this time for the weekly profile, it was very obvious after Monday that it was a classic expansion week profile to Tuesday high of the day, right? I mean, Monday high of the day, eventually, you know what I'm saying, market continuation to the downside, right? So I did, when the Thursday meets a drawing liquidity, right? It will usually be likely a reversal, but Thursday will be a less probably time to trade because that's the day the drawing got met, right? So that would be the day where market would chill off, right? Then eventually the next day would be the retracement / reversal. So that's what I had, but the weekly profile, nothing there. Because the 4-hour time frame was my concentrated trade. We had this 4-hour key level. This 4-hour ERL was our key level as well. We had as well as a 4-hour ERL to IRL, daily ERL to IRL, weekly ERL to IRL, right? As well, eventually, other than that, we had nothing else, right? We had no daily range, nothing else, right? So there's a really low probability narrative. So that, as you guys know, the less narrative, the less probability, right? The higher the narrative, the higher the probability, right? This was not enough. The order flow is bearish, right? So a lot of less probability. So this day is a day where you want to be de-risking a lot, right? You want to be de-risking on your trades. You want to be de-risking on your setups because, as I said, less probabilities, less narrative, less probabilities, right? Higher the narrative, the higher the probability of the trade working on your favor. So this one didn't have that much. We didn't have no daily range. We did not have no ranges. We did not have no order flow with us, right? Everything was against us, right? So this day where we de-risk, right? As well as this day, there was no entry for me, but I did make a mistake on this day, and I'm going to talk about it right here, right? But if you were to trade this day, you would have to put your risks down, right? The reason we put your risks down is because during this time is when the less narrative, right? So during this specific day, I never had a setup, but we could still talk about it, right? And as well as what else happened on this day, I made a mistake on this day, and as well, our market profile was against us, right? The market profiling was really against it, right? You see this ERL got tapped all the way from this candle, right? Once it got tapped from this, over here, the CRT low, there would have not been any reversals. Because why would have not been any reversals here? Because for the reversal, you have to tap a key level, right? In this case, it never taps a key level, and that would be considered as a expansion, retracement, expansion, right? As you can see, our market profile was expansion, a reversal, retracement, expansion, reversal again, another small retracement, another expansion to the downside. You can see this expansion happened. Boom, that would be considered expansion. Now, this is where people fail, right? This is where I got caught on. And what was the mistake on this day? Because the mistake on this day, there was not a legit low of the CRT low. You can see this is a CRT low, day 30 candle. This was a swing low, right? And eventually found out that for a CIZ, when the market purchases a CRT high or CRT low, there must be a legit high or low. There must be a bullish bearish candle for a high, bearish bullish candle for a low. It cannot be a swing low or swing high, right? So in this case, people who took the CIZ as a way to be like, oh, there's a CIZ, oh, there's a reversal, for the market do eventually disrespect you. And as well as you guys see my last previous videos where I'll talk about, you know, CIZ being a reversal, right? A reversal thing where understanding reversal, understanding manipulation, understanding expansion, understanding open high low clause, and understanding SMT divergence, right? Understanding daily profile, weekly profile, right? All comes down to what? A CISD, right? If it comes down to CISD, and this CISD for a reversal, you have to tap a key level, right? In this case, we were already in key level, right? But guess what? It's not about just that. You have to look into multiple things, right? You have to look into market profiling, weekly time. We have to look at market profiling, weekly profile, daily profile. We have to look at all of that, right? As well as this during a specific time, there was an SMT with this correlated pair, right? With DXY. So that high would have been protected without even, you know, so the market would have less chance even more now because there's an SMT with DXY now, right? So that's protecting the higher over there, right? So if the market goes up there, it's less likely to purge it out at this specific day because it was SMT, right? So this is why I made a mistake. There was not a swing low, right? The swing, I mean, there was a swing low, but not a legit low, right? So this would disregard my setup, and eventually took the trade, but I de-risked, right? From instead of risking me, because I did this trade, I was gonna risk 2%, not 1%, but 2%. Why am I risking 2%? Because this wasn't a challenge, right? This was not a funded account because I'm trying to pass challenges quicker so I can get to funding stage. Eventually, once I get funding stage, I'm risking 1%, right? Because I don't want to waste my time staying on challenges for a long ass time. Would you rather be the guy who stays on a challenges account for 7 months and eventually pass it, or you rather be the guy who takes 2 or 3 weeks? Let's just say he fills one funded account, but he passes one, right? Eventually, all the traders have the same amount of capital, but one trader has a 6 month, 6 month ahead, right? Because this guy took 7 months to get a funded account. This guy has 6 months to get a payout, right? So now the guy could play a little safer game, right? Because now he's like, okay, I've got funded, I gotta do that, right? That's what I was trying to do here. But I eventually found out that okay, this is a let's probably set up. And I knew before the trade, I took the trade, I was like, okay, if I lose, I know what's wrong with it because I knew that there must be a legit low or legit high. I've already put that in my note, and this is where I found it today, right? So that's why I had a loss. Market eventually I had to tapped in there. Boom, it's the strike the loss, right? If there was a legit low here, this would be considered a good loss, but there was no legit low here, right? Or the CRT low. So this trade in my setup would have not been a setup at all, right? This would have been a setup would have not taken it, right? You can see market never did a CRT here. So now on this day, if I would have followed my rules, I would have had preserved capital here. I would have had not made any trades around this Tuesday mark, but on Monday would have made my most amount of money because on Monday I would have made a 4.8 RR. Eventually, I said we learned from Monday. We woke up. We woke up early next time. We woke up at 6 a.m., 3 a.m., and 4 a.m. Right, somewhere around there. That's where I woke up, right? And I said now let's go to Friday. Friday now we have a lot of more context, right? You can see now Friday makes more sense for us to take a long entry here, right? So now on Friday, what do we have here? Weekly ERL to IRL, weekly, nothing else, but no weekly time from my daily ERL to IRL, right? And that was that as well. What was the last time we had here? Since with the classic expansion week profile 2, Monday high of the week, Thursday meets a strong liquidity, and Friday makes a retracement / reversal. So Friday we have more narrative to the upside now, right? So our weekly is bullish to the upside. Our Friday there's a Friday reversal as a retracement to end of the weekly range. Like, cause this candle is a big candle, right? You have to go and close the candle in a fair price, right? So we had another narrative. We had a Friday retracement / reversal. So now that's another narrative to this trade. Let's see, big candle go near right by. That's another session, right? Boom. This is the New York. So now the next candle will be the New York session, right? Now, what else do we had here? We had a delayed position profile on, as I said, since we only trade New York, I'm more going to be talking about New York, right? So now I have more data from A session to learn session to use as my advantage, right? So now on A session, right? We had a delayed position profile where the market did not soup out the A session low, so it was a delayed, right? So that means the A session is the low of the day, right? So London continues to the upside. So on this day, when I built up my higher tough narrative weekly profile 2, and Friday is going to be a reverse as a retracement. That's what does 1 weekly ERA to IRL, daily ERA to IRL, right? We have that concept as well. We had delayed position profile. We're looking for a continuation. That's another one as well. In this case, we had a daily range here, right? You can see range market support a high, support a low, right? So this from here to all the down here is a low, right? But we could say this could be an expansion swing. Yes, as well could be an expansion swing. You could call it whatever, but market support a high and a low, so this be considered as a expansion swing or a daily range, whatever we can call it. You can call it, right? So, and as well, we're in a discounted area. I was like, okay, well, if you're in discount, we want to buy, right? And we're just waiting for the candle to open. I've marked out the CRT high of the 8 a.m. of the fucking 5 a.m. candle for our CRT, right? Eventually, this is my 4-hour key level. We're looking too long here, right? Eventually, if you go to the hourly time frame, I was now looking to use this hourly candle as our CRT because you can see in the hourly time frame, this is the bigger candle, so less I get to trade it, right? But what happened for us fast forwardly, market soup out the CRT high first. That is going to disregard my bias because if the CRT high gets purged, that is going against my bias, right? So if the market does go down, it might cause a CRT double purge, okay, but that's going to be a less probability, right? Because CRT double purge are kind of harder, right? Because sometimes market could, I'm saying, purge the CRT high, purge the CRT low as well. You could say you did a double purge. What the market do afterward, right? You might give the CI as the entry and stop you out regardless, right? So eventually, I disregarded this because I want to take the highest probability. And when I take the highest probability, I only get like 1 or 2 max setup a week. This week, my only setup was this. This was the highest probability setup for this week, right? This setup was a lower probability. I could have still made money on this, right? I could have been like, okay, let me take the trade. But it's going to break my rules because my rule says take the higher probability setup. And Monday, Friday, now off rate. But you can see our boss was correct. You can see the only time our boss was wrong throughout this whole week, the only time our bias was wrong throughout the whole week was this candle, whatever it is Thursday. But guess what? We were right on Friday. We were right on Tuesday and Monday, right? Wednesday was no trading day, right? You can see how our bias is now 100% accurate, but it's 90% accurate, right? You can see last week, all of our boxes was correct to the upside and downside, right? So we have nothing in the game of this industry has a 100% accuracy, right? Your mentors have, losses, right? ICT, Romeo, whatever, whoever, they all have losses, right? It's just that our winners eat our losers, right? In this case, I'm still up a 7.5 RR on this, right? Because recently I lost 0.50% RR, right? 0.50% RR, and I'm still up 7.5, all right? So that's why it matters for you guys to let your winners eat your losers. And as well, that 7.5 should have been a 9 RR, but guess what? We made some losses because those losses were a mistaken loss, right? We made a mistake we traded the day before high major news. That's another mistake. We entered on the wrong CIZ. That's another mistake, right? But guess what? We learn from this. We improve, right? Very nice, very well, right? As long as even our mistakes, we made 3 mistakes recently. All the mistakes were eaten up by 1 or 2 trades. No, 1 trade made all the mistakes back, right? It just end profits gain, right? But they were mistakes, right? If we would have taken a good loss, like let's just say we had no the rule was broken. We did not make any mistakes. It was just a good loss. That right there I'm happy, I'm satisfied because I followed my rules. I did not break any rules. So that trade is just part of the process, part of the natural part of the business, right? Losing always gonna happen, right? I can't go out a month, a week without losing, right? Usually I'll have sometimes a week. Well, I'll probably sometimes take one trade in a week. I'll lose that trade, right? It's cool, right? But my focus is the highest probability. And yeah, what did we learn from this week? Is at the end of CRT high, CRT low, there must be a legit high or legit low. It cannot be a swing high or any other patterns, right? And as well as wake up earlier, wake up at 5 a.m., wake up at 6 a.m., wake up at anywhere between those times. Don't wake up at 7 a.m. because 7 a.m. usually will happen as setup, right? Sometimes maybe a setup at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., right? So I want to wake up earlier so I can let my head stop being foggy and be focused, right? Because if you wake up, click a button, your head is foggy, you might fall back asleep, you might build bad habits, right? Because that's a bad habit. Waking up, looking at your phone is a bad habit, right? And as you guys know, that is how you guys ruin your life through waking up, looking at social media, right? Which is not a great thing, right? You want to wake up, go eat food, go do whatever, right? Go work out, go for a jog, right? So you can get your body warmed up, right? Because your brain is very important because it could age faster than your body, right? I just say your body is like a 26-year-old, but your probably head is like 60-year-old, right? Because that's why you want to keep your head, you keep your brain healthy, right? Because this is your age, your brain ages way faster than than your body. Because when you watch stuff, you're using your brain to watch, scroll. Everything you're reading, everything you do, right? You're reading from your mind, right? Basically, when I scroll or watch, right, I look at it to context. I'm using my mind, right? If that thing I'm watching it does not benefit me, it's going to just make my brain stupider and older, right? It makes it less useful, right? As you guys know, brain is very powerful, right? So yeah, thank you for watching my weekly market recap. I'll see you guys on our next week. Hopefully we take this. Now we're gonna take not hopefully right now we're gonna take this week learning, which wake up earlier and look for a legitimate high or legit low at the end of the CRT and carry out next week. And next week my primary goal is that and more, right? So now from here on end, you wanna avoid trying to make the same mistake over and over, right? So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Join our Discord if you haven't. Join the community, join the family, and yeah, keep on improving. Make sure you guys pay attention and get rich. Peace out.